All right. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying Kohala, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakal Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who rule well and who taught me this truth. And shalom to you sincere Akim out there listening, learning, and pushing this truth. And with that being said, I'm going to jump straight into this video. Lord's willing, it's edifying. Heads up, it's probably going to be long. Hopefully not too long. Got a couple videos. I got a couple scriptures. I don't know if I'm gonna hit everything. I'm just going to Rakak with Dash as usual, and see where it takes me. All right. The inspiration for this video really comes from. I was actually two things. Well, three things. The obviously you see the apostles are talking about going into prophecies. You know that brothers are supposed to know the prophecies, and that's obvious because that's what we are. You know, we're prophets. You know, you're supposed to be saying things before it happens. You know, but anyway, that's just common sense. That's what you should be doing, prophesying and exhorting brothers. You know, uplifting brothers. You know, and measuring the time. That's your job. That's your lot. You know, but anyway, um, we know well, I said we, but you should know the prophecies in Daniel and whatnot. You should know certain prophecies. You should just know off the rip. You know, that's common. You should know the whole Bible actually, because you should have eaten the whole roll before you've even went out on the highways and byways. But I digress. But it's always good to to read sharp. Because you don't remember. You read. That's why it's good to read and reread and watch and rewatch and study and restudy, because we're in the flesh and you forget things. We can't. It's impossible to retain all this information. It's a lot. But in key moments you can draw from it. It'll pop back into your mind. But anyway, basically, I was just watching some videos. I said, the spirit jumped on me. I said, let me go back and rewatch some old no, matter of fact, Salaki, I stand corrected. I was watching this video this morning actually. I think it was this morning. Yeah, it was today. No, it was yesterday actually. Salaki, it was yesterday. And it says off of RT America, it says banking crisis getting worse as Fed loses control. Right. With Rick Sanchez, I'll play some of it. I'm not gonna play a lot. It's a lot of bread and circus, a lot of fluff, a lot of bullshit distractions in there. But the title alone caught me. That's why I clicked on it. Banking crisis getting worse because we know that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on this economy to collapse, the dollar this fiat currency to collapse. And off the rip, that made me think about Daniel. You're supposed to know the elders are absolutely right. You're supposed to know these prophecies because that's when you're watching the news, that's what pops into your mind, prophecies, man. So anyway, I'll probably be all over the place. I'm going in the spirit, man. So anyway, like I said, this is really like an edification, because like I said, a lot of times I do my videos, I'm really building myself up. I'm studying my damn, so I'm learning. Even though I know it already. As the Elder Apostle Gabar said, repetition is the father of skill, man. You got to read and study and restudy, man. Be diligent. That's why we're bold out there, because you can't tell me shit. While you doing whatever the hell you doing, we're studying, man. We're researching, okay? Searching the scriptures to see if the things that the apostles said are true, man. All right, which we already know they're true because we've already checked and rechecked and studied and restudied. All right, and that's all we do. But anyway, like I said, watching this article, all right, I mean this clip, and Daniel chapter 2 popped into my head. The statue. All right, we know the gold. The head was the Babylonian Empire. That was the best empire. And he said that that basically the empires that came after him wax worse and worse, just like Jake is waxing worse and worse. All right, and that's basically what it was. I was thinking about the 10 toes, man, because we at the end of this thing, we at the 10 toes. And Salaki, real quick, I had this statue right here. I was looking for pictures, right, because I wanted to. But this picture just Daniel chapter 2, man, beautiful. I love this picture. It's just hilarious, man. How can it stand? The kingdom is divided. The kingdom is weak. The miry clay. The 10. We at the end of this thing, man. And the rock is Yahushua, man. the scriptures, you know, the elders, the apostles, this truth. We breaking down this kingdom, man. All right. But anyway, let's get on with this lesson, man. Enough blibbity blabbing. But yeah, that's what inspired it, man. And, you know, and I said, let me go on YouTube, and because like I said, it's no excuses. Every fucking thing you want to know is pretty much on YouTube already. You know, if you go search, man, if you be diligent, stop being lazy, stop waiting for brothers to spoon feed you things, man. You know, that's how I learned it, just by watching the videos, man. You know, and searching and pausing the video, going back, looking stuff up. You know, that's how you learn, man. You got to do it yourself. You just can't just be listening all the time. You got to actually get your hands dirty, you know. But anyway, I said, let me I just typed in Daniel, of course, Great Millstone, GMS, in the search engine, GMS Daniel chapter 2, because I ain't watching no other bullshit. I already know they don't know, right? Okay. So anyway, I just happened to stumble across this video. It's actually a re-upload. The brothers GMS 12 Tribes Cleveland, all right. It's actually a re-upload from this brother's channel, and it's really from Elder Apostle Tahar. What is the 666 mark? Daniel chapter 2, all right, from 2018. So this news clip that I'm gonna play right now is kind of dated, but it's still current because it's we in that time, man. The Brexit is still going on, you know, and that's what this. But anyway, let's let the video play, man. We in them times, man. We in the, as Apostle Tahar said, the fulfillment of Daniel chapter 2. We in them times, man. Okay. But and like I said, it was really inspired from this video here. Banking crisis getting worse as Fed loses control. All right. This is from yesterday. All right. So kind of time hopping, but it's still current. It's still relevant. All right. This is
with
Living
Greece
Waters,
supporting
man.
Athens' resilience.
My bad. Living Waters. All right, so let's go. Like I said, off of what is the 666 mark? What is the 666 mark? Daniel chapter 2. All right. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna make it large. I might. Yeah, let me make it large.
Hundreds gathered in Paris to show their solidarity with Greece, supporting Athens' resilience in fighting the harsh bailout conditions now being demanded. The protesters were mainly from France's left.
And this was going back into like the referendum and the Greece austerity program. You could go do your research on what happened with that. You know, I don't really want to get into that, but this is an old, like I said, an old clip.
Wing parties. The Prime Minister is calling for Greece to be respected to make sure it stays in the Eurozone. The International Monetary Fund has confirmed that Greece has failed to make a €1.5 billion debt repayment, and the forecast for today is gloomy, with predictions that the country will now default.
In case you don't really know what happened, like you should go look up what had happened. But around this time and stuff, what had happened was you know, the basically, I forget what their currency is called. It became worthless, man. Just like Venezuela, the currency was trash. The banks started closing, you know, like random bank holidays just so people couldn't go to the bank. And then on top of that, they were limiting the amount, a strict limit. I forget how much it was. You know, my memory fails me, but it was a drastic limit on how much you can take out. I haven't been following Greece really, to be honest with you, because so much it's everywhere now. You can't even keep up, you know. But yeah, they had limited, just like I'm telling you, they're gonna do it again. It's gonna happen. You know, there's no new thing under the sun. They were limiting the amount of money that you could take out of the bank, man. You know, and those bills were still being due. You know, they weren't. You know, hey, we're gonna come into them times, man. You know, like I said, the Greece. You could go look up the Greece austerity program and what that was about and what down with that. All right.
After an extension to the most recent bailout was rejected yesterday.
And really, and Salaki, and I didn't even catch all of that, and I'm just going on this because I watched this a couple times trying to get the left because I didn't want to be, but I said I didn't want to be all over the place, but I said at the end of the day, whatever, and I'm gonna just let the Lord work, man. The Rakak Dash, but yeah, bailouts. That's really this place should have been like we keep saying, it's a big bubble. This thing is on a big bubble that needs to be popped, man. And that the banks are just basically it's the IMF, as you can see, the IMF, and well, Greece didn't want to take that deal. You know, they had a little bit of wisdom, but ultimately, all nations are going to have to bow to that because it's really the Rothschilds and the wicked elites. They're collapsing this current system, fiat system, all right, and they want to bring in a cashless society with the on the Internet of Things, and chip with and ultimately implement the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, and that's going to be the new means of transaction. Everything is going digital currency, okay? So they can track everything, including you, But that's ultimately what's going on. You're watching the economies collapse, okay? But but Slock, like I said, bailouts. That's really what's keeping this thing afloat, man. This thing is hyperly inflated, man. The money, the fiscal, the money, however you want to call it, the monetary system, okay? And it's really like I said, the IMF, because we know they control everything. There's only a handful of countries that's not under the central banking system, okay? And really, like I said, Iran chiefly is one of them. Iran is not going under the IMF, man. Okay, just like they went to war with who was it? Gaddafi, I believe, in Libya. Because he didn't want to come into the IMF, the central banking system. You know, Man, anyway, Salaki, let's let the video play.
Shalom, Apostle, Elder Tahar coming back at you with this truth. And I'm going to entitle this, Daniel, the second chapter, Fulfilled.
Salakia, let me you saw I just made it large so y'all brothers could see the news clips that he put in the beginning. But now we're getting into the meat and bone. It's already third. It's gonna be a long video, man. I don't care. It is what it is. Now we're gonna get into the meat and bones because, like I said, that's what this was about. Okay. So let me pull up Daniel because that's what this is about. Okay, Daniel chapter 2. All right. And I'll just I'll let the video play and I'll pause it and go back and I just want to show you brothers. This is really what I do anyway. This is how I operate. When I'm listening to the elders, man, or any one of you brothers. I'm following. I'm looking stuff up. I'm not this would I just wanted to show other brothers how it works, man. You gotta put in effort, man. This thing ain't just gonna come to you. You gotta actually read. You gotta And I'm on the blue letter Slock. I'm on the computer, but you got to read the actual sword too. You got to pick up the actual physical Bible, man. Sometimes it's good to actually pick up your sword and read your sword also. But we got technology, the internet, and all these apps and different websites, and you got I got the apocrypha over here. You got the online etymology. You got the Google. You got all these different things, Wikipedia. Because I got Salaki, I just want to show y'all, brothers, real quick. I got a bunch of stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna hit everything, but you can look everything up, man. You can search, man. Stop being lazy. Look things up. Stop waiting for brothers to give you the answers. Look things up for yourself. The Lord then laid everything out for you already, man. It's not like back in the day when the elders had to go into the library and sit for hours and upon hours, man. It's not. It isn't so. The Lord wants you to get this thing, man. All right. Okay. So anyway, Salakia. Like I said, I'm gonna let the apostle, the elder, speak, man, and jump in, Lord's willing, and land back and edify and actually show you brothers certain things. All right, that you probably know anyway already, but it is what it is.
And this is when you go to Daniel, the second chapter, you read the whole chapter. When you get down in the middle of the chapter, it speaks about the king of Babylon.
Salakia, he's not gonna he's not gonna start at the top. So I'm gonna start at the top. Just like I said, read the whole chapter. You brothers should already have read it, But I'm gonna start at the top for a little bit and then jump back in. It says, this is Daniel chapter 2 verse 1. It says, and in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar. And like I said, this is a real individual, man. These scriptures are records, man. Our history records, man. Our heritage, okay? This isn't no make-up, make-believe bullshit. Okay, the people in these scriptures existed. Esau existed. Cain existed. Abel existed. Adam existed. Okay? Abraham. Okay? These people existed. All right? And it was documented. Because Yahweh Shai wanted it documented so we could have it in the latter days, man. This is our wisdom, knowledge, and this is our strength in the sight of the nations, man. All right? This is our heritage. All right? That's been preserved. And that's why it's written in the code. Okay? Because it had to be written in the code. Like I was listening to the elders, and they was like, yeah, they can't tell you that the white man is a devil. They couldn't say that. The white man is a devil and the white man, Christ, so-called Christ, his name is Yahweh, coming back to kill the white man and put him in slavery. That would never be written, man. Are you crazy? The Lord had to write it in code, man. Because like I always go into, we're in captivity. We're in prison. So these are kites, man, spiritual kites. That you can only understand unless if Yahweh Shai is supper with you. All right? But anyway, it says, and in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. So he was being tormented by night terrors, man. Okay? He was having some hella dreams, all right? It says, then the king commanded to call the magicians and astrologers, and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans, for to show the king but that's Old English for show, to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically what happened was he couldn't remember the dream, all right? And he just like with Pharaoh, right? How Pharaoh brought all the mad when Moses came before Pharaoh, right? And he told the Pharaoh what was up, And matter of fact, Salaki, sidebar, he told Pharaoh first, because people have a misconception. He didn't tell Pharaoh initially to let Israel go. He told Israel to give them, I think it was a day to go serve the Lord, man. Pharaoh was like, nah, you niggas, it's idle, Fuck you mean you want a day to go worship the Lord? You be an idol, man, And then Pharaoh basically said, because remember the Lord told Moses he was going to harden Pharaoh's heart, all right, ultimately. Because what man's goings is of the Lord, and the king's heart is in the Lord's hands, man. He turneth it ever so which way he will, man. But anyway, he hardened Pharaoh's heart, and then he told Moses, "Fuck you," basically. You know what? Since y'all want to be idle, you want to go worship the Lord, I'm gonna take the straw from you, man. You got to go get your own straw. So basically, he doubled the workload. He made work more hard, right? And then after that, after the Lord started plaguing him, then he released. Then Moses went back and said, release us or whatever, right? But anyway, I say that because to go back to Pharaoh, he brought the magic when Moses was going up to him, remember, and showing the power of our power, Yahweh, okay, our power, the power of Yasharallah, right? Pharaoh brought up his magi and, had them do their little bullshit, because remember, Moses' staff, I believe, swallowed the serpents that the Magi conjured. Okay, so the same thing, just like in this kingdom, Esau on the left hand side has his so-called witches and warlords and whatever the hell you want to call them. All right, on the left hand side, the secret, the so-called Illuminati, and they're witches and shit, and they put up demons and curses and whatnot. Like I said, all right. But anyway, Daniel 2:2, it says, "Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream." And like I said, he couldn't remember the dream. So he called them and he told them, you know what? Tell me the dream and what it means. First, tell me the dream. I think he said, first, tell me the dream, so I could know that you really know that you know. And he was like, how, and then explain the dream, break it down to me. What does it mean? But they were like, yeah, I can't tell you the dream, you know. So basically, only Daniel was the only one that could tell him the dream through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. He could tell him the dream and what it meant. All right, basically, okay. In a nutshell. But read the whole chapter. But I just wanted to hit that because the elder is not going to go into. He's going to start like you'll hear. He's going to start further down. All right. Salakia. So let's get back to the elder.
Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar, and this is when you go to Daniel the second chapter. You know, you read the whole chapter. When you get down in the middle of the chapter, it speaks about the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, about a dream, and ultimately Daniel, which was one of the presidents, or became one of the presidents of that region. I believe that was under the Medo-Persian Empire, but he had a high position in the Babylonian Empire and was well respected by the king of Babylon. And ultimately what happened was Daniel the prophet broke down this dream that the king of Babylon had. And I'm going to read from the 36th verse down. I may even read down to the end. But the when we go into like 41, that verse in 42 and so forth, you'll see. I'll talk about.
That's what kept popping into my. That's what inspired the whole thing. All right, because it's be about prophecy. All right, and as you can see, like I said, the elder didn't start from the top. So I just start, and you know he'll say, you get the idea. But this is the main part that I was talking about. This is what he said, Daniel. This is the part most of the prophecy has been fulfilled already. The Babylonian, all the gold, all those empires passed already, came and fell. And that's, you know, the pride of you devils, man. You think that your empire is not going to fall, all right? Matter of fact, perfect time to hit this scripture, all right? Second Ezra, I believe this is what? 6 and 9. Second Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, man. Second Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau, the red Hebrew Edomite, all right? I mean, you know who that is. I don't need to identify him. We all know who that is. And he's not the Arabs, okay? We know who the red Hebrew Edomite is, all right? For Esau is the end of the world, all right? And we at the end of this thing, man. Like I keep saying, keep pushing. We close, all right? All the things that all the apostles and the prophets before were looking for and hastening and hoping for, we're there, man. All right? We're about to see the downfall of our enemies, okay? For Esau is the end of the world, right? But what? And Jacob, who is Jacob? Yasharallah, we are, okay? You so-called Judah, right? You so-called Negroes, Benjamin, you so-called West Indians, Levi, the so-called Haitians, okay? All right? You got the Northern Kingdom, you got Gad, you so-called North American Indians, okay? Seminole Indians and whatnot. You got the Latin tribes in there too. Ephraim, Issachar on down, Zebulun, you know, all right? That's Jacob, man, all right? For Esau is the end of the world, Yasharallah, okay? If you can receive it. And then we got well, I ain't even gonna say confusing the faces. We got the, what you call it, speckled birds, man, all right? That's what I call them, all right? The Israelite foreigners looking like the other nations, okay? Yeah, that's who the kingdom is for. That's who the world is for, all right? Not any other nation, not no other nation, not no damn Ammonites, Moabites, all right? Hittites, none of that, okay? None of that. It's for Yasharallah only. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, all right? And we at the end of this thing. That's why I like that statue, all right? We at the end, all right? Like Yahweh Shai said, Satan divided against Satan. I have the kingdom. How can this kingdom stand? All right, the kingdom is weak. It got weaker. The empires got weaker and weaker. Okay, it can't stand. We at the end of this thing. All right. So let's get back into the apostle.
The fulfillment of those particular from the 36th verse down. I may even read down to the end. But when we go into like 41, that verse in 42 and so forth, you'll see. I'll talk about the fulfillment of those particular verses, and this is dealing with the Greek situation. What they had a few days ago was what's the term? A referendum, which is the purest form of democracy. They always talk about democracy, and the ancient Greeks set up the first democracy. So that's coming full circle. Referendum, when you look the word up, I'm not going to look it up. You can look it up on your own. Is basically where the masses of the people vote on a particular issue, and I believe that vote was it was to determine whether they would pay the, I believe it's 1.5 billion payment on the debt to the IMF, which, by the way, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is based in Washington D.C. You can look that.
Hey, real quick, something I just caught too. You see, that's why they're gonna hate the whore, man. Ultimately, and turning, as it is written, the beast shall hate the whore. All right, because they're greedy, man. You see, they considered it. He said a referendum. The elder said a referendum was a vote, right? And basically, they agreed to default on the loan. They're not gonna pay the loan back. Why? It all goes back to the fucking usury, man. Usury. All right? They're unjust weights, man. All right? And what did the Lord say? A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, man. Okay? So it just all together, this place got to be destroyed, man. All right? And these countries, as it is written, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. The people are being oppressed, man. All right? Esau, Edom did not just oppress Jake, man. He oppressed the other nation, his people as well. All right? Because what? His desire is as hell. He cannot be satisfied. He heapeth unto him all nations. And that started back with Alexander the Greek, man. Okay? You see? He's a virus, man. He's the colonizer. The damn want all, get none. Okay?
Referendum, when you look the word up, I'm not going to look it up. You can look it up on your own. Is basically where the masses of the people vote on a particular issue, and I believe that vote was it was to determine whether they would pay the, I believe it's 1.5 billion payment on the debt to the IMF, which, by the way, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is based in Washington D.C. You can look that up as well. Anyway, the vote was not to make the payment. and basically to default. What you just saw was, before I made my presentation, you witnessed a couple of videos of this event. The Greeks, Greece, no longer wanting to basically deal with the EU and the euro, their money system. Well, like I said, this is the fulfillment of prophecy, the prophecy of Daniel breaking down.
Salakia. And real quick, so you can see we're at the end of this thing, man. Like it says, the feet of iron and clay, miry clay. All right, divided nations of Western Europe. You see, you got Brexit, because what we always go into the beast, right? We always tell you that this place is nothing more than the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Okay, you see, the major empires that ruled, and there's other empires that ruled in between this, but the major empires that are documented, that the dream that Daniel had, you know what I'm saying, was what? The Babylonian Empire, which was the head, which was the best empire. Nebuchadnezzar's empire, right, which was of gold. It was the best. He even told him, he had the best empire, and then who came after that? The Persians, okay, who if you could receive it today is Iran, man. All right, they, and the elder's gonna go into it. The likes of Darius and Xerxes, and like I said, I'm not gonna I was going to kind of go into this, but in the time of in the case of time, I'm not gonna go into it. You brothers can do your own research, man. All right. I had started to go, and that's a whole nother lesson on its own, man. Going into Nineveh, and all these things, But you guys can. This is well documented stuff. You can go, see, man. Just do a little bit of research, man. Stop being lazy. All right. Salakia. All right. Slack. Because I want to play a little bit of the video that inspired everything, also. But like I said, yeah. So you got the Babylonian Empire, like I said, which was taken down by the Persians, or AKA the Iranians. All right. And they even call themselves. Some of them even would know that and call themselves that. And then who came after the Persians? Well, the Greeks. All right. And who chiefly who's the prominent figure of the Greeks? Alexander. Okay. Alexander the Conqueror. And according to the Maccabees, evils were multiplied. All right. When he took apart, he divided his kingdom up to his generals, his whatever, and it says evils were multiplied, all right, and then after the Greeks came the Romans, all right, and that's who was ruling that's the kingdom, or the empire that was ruling during the time of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, who you ignorantly call Christ. Okay, that's who ultimately sacked Jerusalem, and that's why we fled into the western parts of Africa, and we got scattered. But like we know we got scattered prior to that. The Assyrian Empire and all that. But you get what I'm saying. The Romans were ruling when Yahushua was, because only the Jews were left, and if you can receive it, the Jews were. Well, not only the Jews, there were a remnant of the other nations in Jerusalem also, but primarily it was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi that remained in Jerusalem at that time period when the Romans sacked us. All right, but anyway, and then according to Daniel's vision, the last empire was going to be the feet, right? Like I said, we in the 10 toes, right? Miry clay, iron and clay, and that was the weakest. All right. You see, and anyway, let's get back. All right, enough of me blibbity blabbing. Let the apostles speak. All right.
That the king of Babylon had. I'm gonna start from the third event. The Greeks, Greece, no longer wanting to basically deal with the EU and the euro, their money system.
Brexit.
Well, like I said, this is the fulfillment of prophecy, the prophecy of Daniel breaking down the dream that the king of Babylon had. I'm gonna start from the 36th verse, Daniel 2:36. It says, "This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, or this is Daniel speaking, thou, O king, art the king of kings. For the Most High of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory." I'm talking about the ancient Babylonian kingdom. 38. "And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all." The people in that region. "Thou art this head of gold." 39th verse. "And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth." The kingdom after the Babylonian kingdom was the Medo-Persian Empire. The kingdom after that took down the Medo-Persian Empire was Greece. Now, if you check out the movie 300 or the 300 with King Leonidas, you get a little history of that. How they were going back and forth, in war against each other, and ultimately the Greeks came in power, ultimately led by Alexander the Greek and his generals underneath him, that they took rule after Alexander died at a young age from a sickness. So like I said, verse 39 is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, and then the kingdom of brass is the Greek Empire. And it says at the end of the verse, "which shall bear rule over all."
Okay, and I'm putting up, so while he's speaking, y'all can go back and go search these things. I'm not going to go into it. But I showed you a couple, straight off of Wikipedia. You could go look up these names and read it for yourself, and click on the links and do your own research, man, and follow the scriptures, okay? Because I'm not, in the essence of time, I'm not going to get into this. Go look up Alexander the Great, aka Alexander the Conqueror. Darius the Mede. He's talking about Darius and his son Xerxes, and that's what 300 was about. Look it up. No, I'm not going to do it for you. Okay.
All the earth. The Greek age from a sickness. 300 or the 300 with King Leonidas, you get a little history of that. How they were going back and forth, in war against each other, and ultimately the Greeks came in power, ultimately led by Alexander the Greek and his generals underneath him, that they took rule after Alexander died at a young age from a sickness. So like I said, verse 39 is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, and then the kingdom of brass is Greek.
And real quick, I'm not going to go into it either. You could do it for yourself. Read First Maccabees, chapter 1. It clearly, like I said, you can go look that up at the Wikipedia. Like I said, go look up Alexander. This is Alexander the Conqueror. Okay. Matter of fact, I'll read a little bit of it, Salakia. Might as well, since I'm here. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1, it says, "And it happened after that Alexander," like I said, Alexander the Conqueror, we call him Alexander the Crete, all right? They call him Alexander the Great, Alexander the Crete, okay? And Philip of Macedonia, you can look up Philip of Macedonia also, his father, okay? It says, "And it happened." Matter of fact, I haven't watched them in a while. Netflix used to have a couple, I forget what they were called. Salaki Akim, I can't remember. You brothers might know. They had some series on Netflix, man, about the different empires, man. Especially, I think they had Caligula on there. They had Alexander. They had his son. They had all type of stuff. Was it Rome? Man, I forget. But there's a lot of good documentaries and like they're like docudrama series, you know, that goes into the history of that stuff, man, on Netflix. You know, it's pretty accurate. I forgot what the was. I'm drawing a blank, man. But yeah, it went into all that history, man, and you can see exactly what was going on and stuff. But anyway, and back in First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1, it says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians, and the Medes. Because like you said, the Babylonian empire came, right? Nebuchadnezzar's empire, right? And then what? The Persians, Darius and them took down the Babylonians, right? But what? Alexander and his men took down the Persians, which, like I said, are the Iranians, okay? And we know the Greeks are Edomites, man, red Hebrew Edomites, okay? But anyway, it says, and it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and had many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. All right. I'll read some more. I might as well, because it just describes this. This is this man's MO, man. All right, this red Hebrew Edomite, man. He's never changed. It says, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, well, of the known world at the time. All right, they didn't come over to the Americas and whatnot. At the known world, when you watch a lot of history, they'll say such and such conquered the known world. Okay. It says, because what it said that we were talking about Israel being scattered or mentioned as Syrian captivity. It said that the northern kingdom, right, went to the man that no man never dwelt. All right, we knew about it. How do we know? How do we know we knew about it? Because King Solomon sent had a navy and he sent his ships to the Americas to get gold and whatnot. All right, so we knew about them. It was known to some people. All right. Not to everyone, all right? But anyway, it says, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, because the Greeks went with that get down and lay down policy, just like the Romans had, all right? You know? It says, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up, just like his heart is lifted up now, the red Hebrew Edomite, all right? His pride, like read Obadiah. All right, the pride of his heart have deceived him. His terribleness have deceived him. All right, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up, and he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And that's what I said. The usury, man, the wickedness, usury. That's his MO. All right, taxes, you know. And after these things, he fell sick. And that's what the elder was going into. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And this is history. This is well documented. You can look this man up. And his servants, they make movies about it, docuseries about it, okay? It says, and his servants bear rule, everyone in his place. And this is the main point. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils, what does evil mean? As the elder apostle Gabar always goes into, bad times. And evils were multiplied in the earth. All right. I'll read one more verse, and I'll read some more. This whole man, time. It says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus. You can look him up too, Antiochus Epiphanes, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antioch the king, who had been in hostage, who had been in hostage at Rome, And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel, Yasharallah, wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. And that's the same thing now. That's why only a remnant is going to be saved. All right? The Lord only kept a righteous cluster. You got wicked sellout niggas now. All right? Don't want to break down the RFID microchip. Don't want to go into certain things. Want to push prosperity doctrines. Don't want to teach the whole truth. Okay? Anyway, Salakia. It's already 45 minutes. Salakia. Let's jump back into the apostle, man. Salah. And that's why I say it takes time, man. It's study. That's why you got to make your body a living sacrifice. It's work, man. This isn't easy. It takes time. All right? That's why it says give diligence to make that calling and election sure. All right? This thing ain't just going to come to you. You got to study.
Greek Empire. And it says at the end of the verse, which Alexander the Greek and his generals underneath him, that they took rule after Alexander died at a young age from a sickness.
Broke it down in the Maccabees. We just went through it.
So like I said, verse 39 is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, and then the kingdom of brass is the Greek Empire. And it says at the end of the verse, which shall bear rule over all the earth. The Greek Empire did not bear rule over all the earth, but that region, a larger region than the Babylonian kingdom.
Like I said, the known world.
Verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. This is the Roman Empire, the ancient pagan Roman Empire, and some historians refer to it as the Greco-Roman Empire, because they spoke Latin as well as Greek in that empire. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And what they did was they broke all those nations up into provinces. And Israel, or the land of Israel, Jerusalem, which included Jerusalem, was a province under Rome. When you go into the Roman history, when the Israelites
that's well documented, and that's why
they didn't want to kill somebody.
Salaka, and that's why Israel had a problem. Judah had a problem. You know, it was really Jude. You know what I mean? Like Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was the primary tribes left there. But that's why they had a issue when they wanted to tax them, man. You know, Jake had a major issue with that. You know, what the fuck is a tax? You know, this is the land given to us from the Heavenly Father, man. This is our heritage. You know.
They bring judgment against somebody and bruise. And what they did was they broke all those nations up into provinces. And Israel, or the land of Israel, Jerusalem, which included Jerusalem, was a province under Rome. When you go into the Roman history, when the Israelites when they wanted to kill somebody, bring judgment against somebody, ultimately they had to go to one of the governors of Rome, and sometimes it went all the way up.
Prime example of that is with Yahushua, who you ignorantly call Christ. They had to go to Pontius Pilate. They couldn't just put him to death. They had to accuse him to the Pilate first. And Pontius Pilate was what? A representative of Rome. You see? Just a little bit of studying, using your common sense and pausing and taking and digesting, man, and not being a fucking scoffer, man. You know? Like, that's why we always start off giving double honors, man. You got to be taught, man. And then you got to study to see if those things you were taught are true, man. It's very simple.
Because they spoke Latin as well as Greek in that empire. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And what they did was they broke all those nations up into provinces. And Israel, or the land of Israel, Jerusalem, which included Jerusalem, was a province under Rome. When you go into the Roman history, when the Israelites when they wanted to kill somebody, bring judgment against somebody, ultimately they had to go to one of the governors of Rome, and sometimes it went all the way up to Caesar. Even Paul spoke about he wanted to go and speak to Caesar. So that was the Roman Empire. 40th verses, in a nutshell, is talking about the Roman Empire. 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Now this is the second Roman Empire, or this is the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Now the EU, if you go in,
AKA the beast. Okay, the beast, if you can understand it, the beast. Because the first beast was the Roman Empire. Okay? And basically their system, all right? The way they governed and operated. All right? But what? That empire fell, right? And then, but what? Like the elder said, this is the rebirth, all right? Everything about America, we already know this, man. America's modeled after the Babylonian Empire and the Roman Empire, man. Okay, from the senates to the how they were going into the patricians and the Labians, if I even said it correctly, the Republicans and the Democrats or whatever. Everything about it, man. To the Senate, all of that, man. And like I said, it was a series on Netflix that showed it, man, perfectly. With one of the Caesars, I think the first Caesar, how he got into power. I want to say it was Rome. I can't remember, but it showed you how he was on the side with one of the top in the Roman Empire, one of the top patricians or whatever, and one of the top Labian or whatever. They were in cahoots with the Caesar, and ultimately they were getting mad because Caesar was getting too much power. You know, it showed you in that series, man. If y'all brothers know what I'm talking about, you can throw it up in the comment section. All right. All right, but basically, like I said, we are living in the rebirth of the Roman Empire, this beast system, okay? And like the elders always go into, the beast is nothing more than NATO and the EU, all right? That's what the beast is. NATO is the military might. You can look all this stuff up. I've already did videos on it. I've already looked it up and showed you guys already. But you can do your own research, man. NATO is the military might of it, the military might of the beast. And then the EU is basically the financial system, okay? That's the if you can receive it.
the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Now this is the second Roman Empire, or this is the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Now the EU, if you do some research on the EU is set up and established by a treaty known as the Treaty of Rome. So like I said,
that's facts. Looked all that up already also. It's on Wikipedia. You can look it up, man. You can look it up. It's right there on Wikipedia. It tells you all of that. Everything the elders are saying is facts. Okay? But you got to study and search, and these things will stay with you and sup with you. All right? You got to know how to, like, I see what he's saying. You got to understand these scriptures, man. With all that get understanding, man. All right? And that's where you can filter through the news and filter through the bullshit. Through the scriptures, through the prophecies.
The 41st verse is referring to the EU, which the EU nations, some of them are part of NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The EU stands for the European Union. 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron, I'll give you some example: Switzerland, Greece, Great Britain, because they're still strong. Monetarily, they're still strong. And part of Clay, perfect example, Greece, and some of the other nations like Ireland and Italy, Spain, Portugal, which are part of the EU nations. So the kingdom, and we're talking about the EU, which is the rebirth of the ancient pagan Roman Empire. And they're mingled among NATO. So when you speak about the EU, you have to speak about NATO. And one of the members of NATO is the United States. The United States is also part of the ancient pagan Roman Empire. In other words, this kingdom was reborn or regenerated or reincarnated. 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with my
Salakia. Basically, what I was thinking about was when you go back to the founding fathers. This place was established in the theme in its inception. At its inception, it was modeled after the Roman Empire. Okay, when you go back to the founding fathers and all this so-called bullshit, which we know really go back to the elites, man. Okay, you see, they model themselves. They call themselves. They model themselves after the Roman Empire, man. Okay.
Reborn or regenerated or reincarnated new nations. So the kingdom, and we're talking about the EU, which is the rebirth of the ancient pagan Roman Empire. And they're mingled among NATO. So when you speak about the EU, you have to speak about NATO. And one of the members of NATO is the United States. The United States is also part of the ancient pagan Roman Empire. In other words, this kingdom was reborn or regenerated or reincarnated. 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, Germany, Greece, Switzerland, Great Britain or England, Ireland, Portugal, Spain, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Because you have a lot of other nations that are mingled among these nations, and these different Edomite groups are mingled among themselves. But they shall not cleave one to another. Well, this memorandum that took place in Greece to not default on their debt payment, that's what it's talking about. But they shall not cleave one to another. So now there's
another prime example is the Brexit. Okay, and I'm gonna shut it down on that in the essence of time because it's going on almost an hour because I still want to play this. But that's in a nutshell. That's what inspired this, man. You got it. The elders are right. You got to know prophecy. You got to know history. All right. You got to know the meaning of words. You got to be studied, man. Okay. Can't be no. What's that? You can't be no half-ass, lazy-ass punk off the street. What that's from? All right. Salakia. But this is what really popped. Daniel chapter 2 popped in my mind. The Miry, with the 10 toes, man. All right. With this. All right. I'm not gonna play the whole thing because a lot of it is bullshit. But I'm gonna play this and then shut it down. Lord's willing, this video was edifying. All right. This is RT America. It says banking crisis getting worse as Fed loses control. Full show. Okay. Let's go with your boy Rick Sanchez, where it's time to do real news again.
From the national headquarters of RT America in our nation's capital. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Sanchez. Tonight, 3 countries appear to be in political turmoil, including our own.
political turmoil, right? 3 countries. It's more than that, man. Real quick, so like I forgot to bring these out real quick. I gotta bring these out. Gots to real quick. Just wanted to bring this out. Real quick. It says Matthew 12:25, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, talking about the wicked Pharisees and Sadducees, right? Every kingdom divided against himself, but we know this is talking about now. The scriptures are manifold. We can relate this to now, okay? And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, Matthew 12:25, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom is America not a kingdom? All right, United Kingdom, the beast is really a king, it's kind of like a kingdom, right? An empire, right? It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself. And that's what you see, the kingdoms, right? The different nations, the different, like we said, the Miry Clay, the Daniel chapter 2, right? Like the elder was going into. The kingdoms are divided. They shall not cleave one to another. Where is it? Block it. Where is it? And where Daniel chapter 2, verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, right? And we know that was going into EU, all right? They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another. So they're divided, man, all right? So back in Matthew, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And like we keep saying, we're at the end of this thing. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And that's what happened also with the Roman Empire. With Caesar and whatnot, they became divided. They grew to great power and strength when they were together, right? With the plebeians and the patricians, or whatever the hell you want to call them. When they were together with Caesar, they were powerful. But greed, they're Edomites, man. They're ultimately their own greed that divides them. Okay? It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Okay? So, I know I didn't hit all the scriptures, but it is what it is.
In Israel, from the national headquarters of RT American, our nation's capital. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Sanchez. Tonight, 3 countries appear to be in political turmoil, including our own. In Israel, who knows at this point if Benjamin Netanyahu will be able to build a government? He has 42 days to do so, starting today. In the UK, the Prime Minister has been slapped down by the Supreme Court. But look what happened, by the way, when he returned just a while ago to Parliament.
I'm gonna shut it down. This is what really kicked it off, because I was thinking how they trying to impeach Trump, which is all bullshit, bread and circus, trying to distract the people because of the war and the economy. It's all bullshit. But nonetheless, this is what really had inspired it right here.
Afternoon, as he was mandated to do, by the way, to go back to Parliament. Look what happened.
After yesterday,
they're chanting, resign, resign, resign.
His ruling, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister should have done the honourable thing and resigned.
Yeah, I believe that dude is Borat, the Prime Minister, right? And they're chanting for his resignation. Just like Trump. If you pay attention, they're trying to impeach him. Well, they've been trying to do that, but, the kingdoms are divided, but we know that's really bread and circus, man. Bullshit.
Can you imagine you're the leader of a country, you go back, and all of a sudden people start screaming at you, resign, resign, resign. It went for quite a while. Those are the screams that you're hearing right there. Just resign, resign, resign. Then there's a top story here in the United States where a formal impeachment inquiry has begun after a whistleblower has come forward and said that he or she, we don't know, has information about the president's conduct. exactly.
That's enough of that. But you see, kingdom is divided, man. You know, you got the Brexit still going on. You know, uproars of the people. You know. Anyway, like I said, that's really what inspired it. So, Lord's willing, you brothers was edified. Hey, like I always say, man, we almost out of here. Keep pushing. Shalom.